Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is the 30th ever live chat. It is November 10th, 2021. We have a lot to talk about. First off, before I get into any of the news, we now have 1,501 subscriber. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel and watching the videos. Before you know it, we'll be at 2,000 subscribers. Uh, if you guys want to support the channel, I added an extra perk for members only. To be a member, the link is in the description, but you get loyalty badges, custom emojis. I post behind the scenes stuff, but now also we have a Discord chat where you guys can message me directly. We have a bunch of different, sections within there where we talk about upcoming fights, and we can all message back and forth during the live fights. So once you sign up for a member, you'll get the link to the Discord. And even if you end up, maybe not being a member for this month or that month, you'll still be a part of the. I'm not going to kick people out of the Discord chat. So even if you sign up for 1 month, you guys will get access to the Discord server, and it's been a lot of fun so far. It's only a few of us in there, but if you haven't yet and you are a member already, go join the Discord server. I post it in the members only community tab. And if you want access to that, just sign up to be a member. The link is in the description. It helps support the channel. Every dollar goes back into the channel. Last Saturday was UFC 268, so we have a lot to talk about there. Whether or not, what does Colby do next? What does Usman do next? Is Justin Gaethje the rightful #1 contender? Also, we just found out that Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards is off. Jorge Masvidal pulled out with an undisclosed injury. So, I mean, I've already made a video about this and talked about why I think it could be potential good news. But now everyone is talking about Khamzat Chimaev stepping in to fight Leon Edwards at UFC 269 in December. I'm going to tell you whether or not I think that happens. That's probably the first topic we'll really get into. But guys, do me a favor. You have any questions, any topics you want me to talk about, just put them in the chat. I greatly appreciate it. And also, do not forget to like the stream. It helps grow the channel, push it out to more people. And I would greatly appreciate it. So before I get into anything, let me quickly read what you guys are saying. What's up, Homework? What's up, French Fries? UFC won't like Leon Edwards sitting out all. UFC wants to book him against the Wolf. Luke Laris Leon makes more sense. They're not going to give Luke that missed weight and not a big name. Hamza doesn't really deserve a title eliminator yet. Luke is on a big win streak. Okay, so anyway, the first thing I want to talk about, I just wanted to read those quick few messages we had in the chat already. But let's get into Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev. So Jorge Masvidal's out. Khamzat Chimaev is looking for another fight. I thought about maybe making an individual video about this, but I already did the one video about Leon Jorge, and then now I'm doing the live chat now, so I probably won't make an individual video. But I do not believe, and I didn't really put this too much out there in the video that I put out already. It was more of the permutations I believe could branch off of this cancellation. But I don't believe at all that we are going to get Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev. I don't believe the UFC is going to try to book this for a fourth time. It was already booked last December, last January, and this current March. It fell out for reasons. Khamzat was sick and Leon was sick and this and that. But the reason I don't believe it's going to happen now is because Leon Edwards is already on a 9-fight win streak. The UFC has already said, oh, he's going to be #1 contender, this and that. I do not believe Leon Edwards is going to accept fights with anyone else. Whether that's right or wrong, whether you agree with that or not, I think that Leon Edwards is going to say, look, I tried to work with you guys. I accepted the Jorge Masvidal fight. I accepted the Khamzat Chimaev fight 3 times. I am not going to fight Khamzat Chimaev on one month's notice and potentially lose out on my shot at the title when I'm already on a 9-fight win streak. And honestly, do you really blame him? I know how badly a lot of you want to see Leon Edwards versus Khamzat. I would love to see that fight. But that being said, Khamzat Chimaev is a completely different style. To accept that fight on a month's notice is just career suicide for Leon Edwards, in my opinion. It's one of those things where, to be honest, when you're in a position that Leon Edwards is in, and you have this long winning streak, who wants to? Any short notice fights kind of suck, And he took the Bilal Muhammad fight, and so there's really no good options. If If he fights Gilbert Burns and loses, I know people are saying, oh, throw Gilbert Burns in there, throw Vicente Luque in there. I think French Fry suggested that. And the Luque fight makes more sense. I agree with that because Luque's on a good streak. Right now, if you look at merit, who deserves the title shot next or number one contenders fights next, you have Leon and you have Luque. And so those two fighting for the number one contender spot makes sense. But at the same time, I don't think as Leon, being Leon, he's not going to want to take that fight on a month's notice. Kamaru Usman likes to stay active. The UFC's been keeping him active. So I think really they're going to wait it out and they're just going to give Leon a title shot and say, because Leon really has suffered a lot of bad luck. He was supposed to fight Woodley before Woodley was washed. And he was supposed to, get the title shot basically off of that. And he was canceled from that fight for no fault of his own. Then he couldn't get any fights in the UFC until, December of last year. Then he got sick and pulled out. And then Khamzat was sick and pulled out. And then Khamzat was sick and pulled out. Then he was supposed to fight. Then he fought Bilal, had the no contest on the fight he was winning. Then he fights Nate Diaz, outclasses him, and gets rocked in the 5th round. And everyone forgets the performance that he put on before that. So I think the UFC sympathizes with Leon. And I think also, for all the shit that people talk about Leon Edwards, that guy is down to fight. He accepted 3 fights with Khamzat Chimaev, a guy who wasn't even ranked. And I know they had to twist his arm a little bit, but at the end of the day, he accepted the fights. Then he took a fight against Jorge Masvidal, which he really didn't need to. So I think the UFC is going to say, you know what, we're going to give this guy a title shot. Kamaru Usman wants to stay active. Also, if you book Leon versus Luque, and if Luque wins, we can get Luque versus Usman, but then at the same time, it's like, is that a big fight? I think Usman versus Leon isn't the biggest fight, but I think people have been not clamoring, but people have wanted that fight for a good bit, and they want to see Leon Edwards, the guy who deserves it, get it. And don't get me wrong, to be honest, if they book Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev December 11th, that would blow me away because I would love to see that fight. I love that matchup. I love every once in a while taking a guy and throwing him to the wolves. And if Hamza can go out there and beat Leon, he deserves a title shot, undoubtedly. I'm in. I'm sold. 2 top 15 wins, 1 against the top 5 guy. Give him a title shot after that. I would love to see him versus Usman. So, but it's all about the time frame. The UFC is going to want Usman to fight. Rather quickly. Usman's been so active. I think probably Usman fights in the spring of next year. That's a decent amount of time off, but we'll see. And I just feel like there's so many other fights they can give Khamzat. And if I had to guess, and I did a video on this, I think the UFC's really eyeballing that Wonderboy Thompson fight. I think they're really eyeballing that Wonderboy Thompson fight. It's a guy with a big name, an elite guy in the division, and Khamzat Chimaev is a nightmare matchup for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So if I had to guess, I think we see Chimaev versus Wonderboy next. But also what I love, and Chimaev tweeted out, he said he don't care if it's Leon Edwards or Gilbert Burns. He wants to fight somebody in December. So guys, I think there's a very good chance next month we see Khamzat Chimaev fight somebody. The list of people willing to take the fight are unreal. Neil Magny wants it. I think Gilbert Burns said he would take the fight. It's just they will find someone to fight Khamzat. It's just a matter of who. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Luque versus Leon makes more sense. Yeah, but I think they leave Leon the title shot. They're not going to give Luque. He missed weight. Okay, they read that. UFC doesn't care about who deserves what. It's all about money. Very true. I'd see that fight, but they don't want to fight each other. They can do Michael Chandler versus RDA next. That wouldn't be a bad. I like that fight. What's crazy is Michael Chandler's 1-2 in the UFC. But if you guys remember, at one point Justin Gaethje went 1-2 in the UFC and came back and got an interim title. He had 3 training camps for Hamza. If he's not ready to take a short notice fight against Hamza, Gilbert Burns, Vicente, how is he ready for a rematch with Usman? I don't know, man. To be honest, give me Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. That's the fight I want to see. Leon is ruining it for himself. Edwards already beat Luque. Very true. UFC might as well just give Leon the next shot. Damn, fighting another contender. Conor versus Chandler would be fire. I hope they do that next. I doubt it. I don't think Conor wants that fight, to be honest. Maybe I'm just a Conor hater. Conor does not want that fight. UFC has no sympathy for anyone. They only care about themselves. Hey, how's it going? What's up, DJZ? Hope you're doing well. UFC going to do Chimaev fight next month if it's Leon or Gilbert. I hope it's Gilbert. I mean, if it's up to, if I'm running the UFC right now, my personal preference of what fight I want to see, give me Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. That'd be a very fun fight. I wonder if Khamzat would have the confidence to take him down. You know, if he were to get him down, would he be worried about the jiu-jitsu or not? So, that'd be crazy. Let me take a drink, guys. The hardest part about these live chats is getting thirsty in the middle of them by talking too much. So let's see. Wonderboy said he has a fight in December and it's not Chimaev. I wonder who Wonderboy's fighting them. Why not? Who else would Chandler fight? I don't know who else Chandler would fight. I can give you an answer to that in the question. I don't think Conor wants that. That's a bad matchup for Conor. I think I would favor Conor to beat Chandler, but I don't think Conor wants that fight. Hence why he came back and they offered him Cowboy Cerrone or Justin Gaethje. He said, give me Cowboy Cerrone. So I don't think Conor wants that fight. Conor already tweeted out, definitely at some point, at some stage, he said, which is keywords for not right now. I'm not fighting you now. So let me see who I would match up Chandler with right now. Maybe I'll do a video on that. But we're doing a UFC 268 kind of recap on here anyway. So he loses to Justin Gaethje, an amazing fight. Give me Michael Chandler versus RDA, like someone mentioned before. Chandler versus... I wouldn't mind seeing Chandler versus Tony Ferguson, honestly. You could do Chandler versus Dan Hooker. There's nothing but fun matchups for Chandler right now. You could do Chandler versus the loser of Oliveira versus Poirier. So there's a litany of options for Chandler right now. Burns versus Leon for number one contender. I wouldn't mind that either, but I doubt they do that. Hamza versus Luque or Chiesa. Chiesa already has a fight, so how would you see a Hamza versus Burns going? That is why I love the fight so much, because it's very hard to predict that fight. I don't think Hamzat's going to want to take him down because of Gilbert Burns' jiu-jitsu. So it's going to come down to the striking. Who's the better striker? And I'm not sure who's the better striker. Khamzat or Gilbert Burns, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Wonderboy already has a fight. Chandler versus RDA is just not that exciting. For me, I love the fight, but I think a lot of people are off RDA because he's lost so many at welterweight, but he's still an elite world-class fighter. I'd love to see that fight. It's not some crazy wild matchup. I personally prefer. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't take it wrong the wrong way. I want to see Chandler versus McGregor. I love that matchup. But I think McGregor comes back, and I think he either fights Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, or there was another one, or Tony Ferguson. I think those are the three. I think Wonderboy fights Bilal or Neil Magny. I don't think he's fighting Bilal, but maybe Neil Magny probably. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. McGregor, he's going to leapfrog and get another undeserved title shot if Dustin beats Charles. Expect them to get a McGregor fight, Dust. I honestly think that, I've said that multiple times, would not shock me if he got a title shot. Whoever Chimaev fights next week is a title eliminator fight, and Leon will have his chance after that. What happens to Hooker now? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough spot for Dan Hooker. Dominant loss to Islam Makhachev. He can go out. I mean, you could still book. It's not the most exciting fight on paper for me, but you could book Tony Ferguson, Dan Hooker. Not a bad idea. If Leon doesn't fight on December 11th, skip him and do Khamzat versus Burns for the number one contender. I really believe UFC is going to give Leon Edwards a title shot. No, next month. I know what you mean. Stylistically, Conor is a nightmare matchup for Justin. Similar cardio, no grappling. Conor is a deadly counterpuncher. I disagree with you on that one, man. I think Justin is a nightmare matchup for Conor. Brutal leg kicks. Conor's got that wide karate style. Decent enough wrestling and a granite chin. So I opposite. And Gaethje has far better cardio than Conor, in my opinion. I know sometimes he looks tired, but he doesn't fight tired. I know Justin Gaethje sometimes looks very, very exhausted, but even in those cases, he doesn't fight very exhausted. Wonder Boy versus Conor will be a fun fight. That would be weird. Too many pullouts recently. Holland was supposed to fight this weekend. Yeah, Holland pulled out a while ago. Too many. Okay, I think Ferguson may lose to Chandler. I just don't know if he can take Chandler's punches. I agree. At this point, Leon is getting skipped again. Early prediction for Giga versus Cater. Do you think it's a bad fight for Cater after the Max fight? I'm going Giga Chikadze in that fight. I just think it's. I think he's just an elite striker, and I'm all aboard the train. But I love that matchup. Uh, Conor versus Tony is the fight to make, but I feel like even now Conor is scared of Tony. I think Conor is going to try to get a title shot if Dustin Poirier beats Charles next month. Uh, I think that's what's going to happen. If not, he's going to try to take the most winnable matchup he can find, just like he did when he came back and fought Cowboy Cerrone. He's going to look for the most winnable matchup. Conor versus Tony is the fight to make, but I feel like okay, Leon has the most overrated win streak of anyone right now. I've said it multiple times. Even though I think I'm on board with Leon, I think he deserves a shot. He hasn't beat anyone in the top 10. But the guy has a terrible string of bad luck, honestly. It's not his fault. It's not like he's not taking fights. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah? Yeah? Hello? Okay, I guess that was an accident. Leon has the most overrated win streak of anyone right now. Agreed. Conor can't beat anyone in the top 5. I don't think Conor can beat anyone. Let me see. I don't know if Conor beats anyone in the top 10. That's including Gregor Gillespie. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Do you think Calvin Kattar mixes in the wrestling? He can beat Giga? Maybe. I think that's the best path. The best path to beating Giga Chikadze, honestly, is to try to wrestle him. His striking looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. What's going on? I am the Defense. What is going on, my friend? Let me check something out real quick. But speaking of Chandler and Gaethje, guys, what a fight on Saturday. Absolutely incredible fight. I went back and watched. I think I've watched it 3 or 4 times now. The punches Chandler was throwing, he was trying to kill Justin Gaethje with those punches. Justin Gaethje's got a hell of a chin. I know a lot of people like to call him brain dead. He's got CTE. He's taken a lot of damage. He's been in these crazy fights. But to absorb the type of damage that he did against Michael Chandler and survive was insane. There was a big shot that he took after the eye poke. Incredible to survive that. I truly believe, and I know it's only one fight removed from a title shot, but he's interim champion. He steps in on short notice. He beats Tony Ferguson. To come in and have an amazing performance like that against Michael Chandler, who was this close to being champion himself, I'm okay with Justin Gaethje getting the next title shot. I think he's the number 1 contender. And I think Justin Gaethje, I'm a Charles Oliveira fanboy. I've been on the Charles Oliveira hype train for a long time, before there was even a hype train, honestly. And I really believe that Justin Gaethje is a nightmare matchup for Charles Oliveira. I said this in the post-fight. I said this in the prediction video. People underestimate Justin Gaethje's takedown defense because he was absolutely mauled by Khabib Nurmagomedov. these other guys are just not the same. They're not on the same level as Khabib Nurmagomedov, okay? Charles Oliveira is going to have a tough time taking down Gaethje. Now, if he takes him down, it's over. The jiu-jitsu differential, not looking good for Justin Gaethje. But getting him down is going to be difficult. I mean, Mike Chandler had him rocked multiple times, and he got one takedown, and Justin Gaethje front flipped out of it. That was insanity. I love, what a card. I went back and watched a lot of fights from 268. It was an amazing card. I mean, the Alex Pereira flying knee at the end of the prelims, to the spinning wheel kick KO of John Vellante. Nothing but great fights. Nothing but great fights on UFC 268. If you guys have any questions about that, I hope you guys enjoyed the live post fight I did for UFC 268. Okay, already seen that. What's going on? I am the defense. But yeah, Justin Gaethje should get the next title shot. Islam Makhachev, let him fight one more time. Let McGregor fans tell it he isn't afraid of Tony Ferguson. According to Conor fans, Tony is a very easy fight for McGregor, but he gets hit a lot. If it's easy, McGregor should fight him. I would love to see that fight, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Another thing McGregor fans claim Conor doesn't dodge anyone, but he didn't dodge Justin last year to fight Cerrone. Yeah, that McGregor's definitely very selective. And he could have stepped in and fight Tony instead of Justin Gaethje, but he didn't. He did not step in. He didn't want that. He didn't want that problem. Do you think they will make Max Volk trilogy if Max wins on Saturday? Most likely. Most likely. I don't really see what else they do. If Giga beats Cater, but that's still a ways away. That's in January. So that's 2 months away from even happening. I think the only option for a featherweight title shot right now is Volkanovski. McGregor is elite, but he's not top 5 worthy. He should stick to fun fights like Diaz or Ferguson, but knowing the UFC, he'll fight for the title next. I think most likely he comes back to a Tony Ferguson or Nate Diaz, but I don't know if Dustin wins the title. He's going to be begging for that title shot. Dustin's going to want to give it to him just because why wouldn't Dustin want to give it to him? I smoked him twice, and now he wants to fight me again, and I got the 2 biggest paydays of my life fighting him. If I'm Dustin Poirier, I would fight Conor McGregor 60 times. I mean, why would you not want to fight him over and over and over again? Just keep beating him and collecting big paychecks. So, Justin and Poirier struggled with Alvarez. Conor beat him with ease. People forget how good Conor was. They judge him after his prime. Yeah, I don't believe in MMA math, Yusuf. It doesn't matter to me. I think, styles make fights, and Alvarez is a certain matchup for certain guys and another matchup for Conor. It's not the same. I think Justin wrecks Conor, especially on the leg kicks. But I think Conor has a chance. I would love to see Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor. Would love to see Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor. Would love it, would love it, would love it. Can't wait to watch Cyborg this Friday. I remember being a kid and watching her fight Gina. She has been my favorite female fighter ever since. I'll probably live stream it depending on the timing of the event, Sean. So make sure you check it out on Thursday or so. I'll try to schedule it as long as the timing's right. Who wins if Justin and Islam fight? That's a very tough fight. I'd probably go Islam. After seeing what he did to Dan Hooker, I think I go Islam. I think Islam can get him down. But Justin has amazing striking, could easily catch him and put him to sleep. Alex Pereira versus Rodolfo Vieira is how you pronounce it. Is an awesome fight stylistically. Wonder if the UFC will book that. That sounds like a fun fight. I would like that fight. Losing Masvidal versus Edwards is a bummer. They probably won't rebook it. I think the fight never happens. I just don't. Max has been talking about moving up to 55. I doubt it happens, but he does have a win over Charlie Olives. Yes, he does. Did you see Yair's interviews? What do you think about his words that he's going to finish Holloway? I mean, I'm happy that he's smart enough to know he has to finish Holloway. If he doesn't finish Max Holloway and he goes deep into the 4th, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, that's not going to be good for Yair. He's going to get swarmed with combinations. But he has lightning fast kicks, and they're so hard. I think if he lands something on the body or he lands to that chin with one of those kicks, he could sleep Max. Very unlikely, in my opinion. If you watch my prediction video, you know that. But it's possible. It's definitely possible. Alex Pereira will live up to the hype and become middleweight champion by the end of next year. I doubt that, man. I'm going to say false. I'm going to pretend that's a true or false question. What about Conor versus Chandler? I would love that fight. I don't think Conor wants that fight. I think Conor comes back. I think he fights Nate Diaz. If I had to really narrow it down, Conor comes back. He fights Nate Diaz or Dustin Poirier. And even if Dustin Poirier is the champion, I think that's the fight he campaigns for, and the UFC will find a way. I would love Conor versus Chandler. I just don't think Conor's going to accept that fight. I don't think. Let me repeat that. Conor McGregor is not going to accept that fight. It's not going to happen. Now, I would love to be wrong, and I'll be the first person on here making a video how I was wrong, and I love that fight. But I'm very, very doubtful. I try to be real. I've watched what the UFC's done for years and years, and a lot of times it seems like I get it right. I mean, sometimes I get it wrong, but I just don't think they book that. Does Leon just wait for a title fight now? I think he does. I think he does, and I think the UFC is going to give it to him just because he's been willing to fight anyone and everyone. Had a string of bad luck. I think the UFC gives him a title shot. Just because Usman likes to stay active, and Leon's kind of the deserving guy right now. I think Alex is a big threat to Izzy's belt. Yes, but he has to get there first. But there's not very many grapplers at middleweight. It's going to get very interesting. I think he maybe fights 2 more fights, and if he wins 2 more fights, maybe they give him a ranked guy, like a top 10 guy. But I think the UFC, he's in a very unique situation, having the wins over Izzy. The division's kind of emptied out right now. Who's there to fight Izzy? It's all rematches, but Cannonier. I would love to see Max Holloway at 55 and some pretty good matchups there for him. I would love to see Max Holloway, Conor McGregor at 55. There's no way Pereira is fighting Izzy till at least late 2023. I think he could fight him sooner. If the division's cleared out and maybe Izzy's campaigning for it, let's say Cannonier beats Brunson and Izzy beats Cannonier middle of next year or spring of next year, and Pereira stays active and maybe fights twice and gets a big name, there's no one left in the middleweight division to fight for the title. So if Izzy wants to fight twice next year and Izzy likes to stay active, Pereira could be gifted a title shot. I hate to say it, but hell, Holloway versus Justin Gaethje would be good at 55. I always wanted to see Justin Gaethje versus Nate Diaz, but I don't think that'll ever happen. I think Poirier is a weight bully. What Colby said is true. Poirier used to fight at 45. I don't think Poirier is some huge 55, but all guys are cutting extreme weight. Conor versus Cowboy 2 or Conor versus Diego Sanchez. Worst fight for stylistically besides Islam is Gaethje at 55. Worst fight for Max stylistically besides Islam is Gaethje at 55. Yeah, I think Gaethje stops Max probably. What do you think about Max Holloway versus Michael Chandler? How do you see it going? I think Holloway beats up Mike Chandler. Mike Chandler doesn't have the best cardio. Plus, he's just super explosive earlier than he fades. Do you think UFC will want Alex Pereira to get it up the rankings without testing him against a decently ranked grappler? Well, to be honest, there's not that many grapplers at middleweight. I mean, you look at middleweight, even right now, who's going to grapple him? Derek Brunson's the only grappler, and he's not fighting Derek Brunson. Chris Weidman, he's not going to be around probably. Jack Hermanson, okay. Maybe Marvin Vettori. But that's pretty much it. And these are one of those guys who are like heavy, heavy grapplers. I think they probably book him against a decently ranked guy. Maybe after he fights one more guy outside the top 15. And then he fights a decently ranked guy. And I think they probably avoid Derek Brunson, Marvin Vettori, and Jack Hermanson. Just because none of those guys, Marvin Vettori is not getting another title shot. So you don't want to have Marvin Vettori knocking off a guy who could potentially fight for the belt. So I hope that made sense. There's a lot of options outside of the grapplers. What's up, Joey? What's going on? Pivo44. Do you think the UFC will book John Jones against Gane and Ngannou winner? And also, when do you see Conor returning? Spring 22. Take care. I think Conor returns probably summer of 2022 or spring, but I think probably summer, maybe next July. Fights International Fight Week. I do not think John Jones gets the winner of Gane versus Ngannou, but crazier things have happened. Do you think Charles Oliveira versus Holloway is a big fight at 55? I would love that fight, but only maybe if Max gets the title back at 45. If Max goes and, like, let's say he sleeps Volk or TKO's Volk, then goes up to 55 and fights Chandler for the belt. I mean, not Chandler, Charles for the belt. I'd love that. But also, I don't think John gets that Ngannou winner just because of his legal troubles now. Do you think Gaethje will hold the UFC World Belt eventually? I do. I'll say yes. But that's a tough one. I think he can beat Oliveira. I think he can beat Poirier, but he's going to have a lot of trouble with Islam Makhachev. Alex Pereira versus Kevin Holland. I love that fight idea. Who do you think can give Alex a run for his money on the feet at 85? Whew. I don't know if anyone can, man. I don't know if anyone can. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of his kickboxing, but it's got to be damn good if he's stopping Israel Adesanya. I think Marvin Vettori, just because of the threat of the grappling. I think Paulo Costa maybe, but probably not. And just striking, I think he beats up Uriah Hall for sure. He beats up Darren Till, beats up Sean Strickland. Again, I have my limited knowledge of his striking. I think he beats a lot of these guys up. I think Robert Whittaker could hang with him, though. Guys, do me a favor. Don't forget to like the stream. I greatly appreciate it. It helps push it out to more people. So if you haven't already, just do me a favor. Click the like button below. Run up the likes on the stream. Also, become a member of the channel. We started a Discord chat now. So you guys can message me directly. We're going to be, we have a little, I think it's called a channel within Discord, where we're going to be, all the members will be messaging back and forth live on fight nights. So, and if you join a member just for 1 month or whatever, if you just want to do it for 1 month, you will always have access to the Discord server. We won't ever boot you out of there. So if you want to sign up for a member for a month, get access to the Discord server. And there's other benefits too that I've talked about before, but the link is in the description if anyone wants to become a member. And keep the questions coming. I greatly appreciate it. Rose wants Carla next. I think it's a good fight for both. I would love to see that fight, the rematch. Carla has the win over. I'd love to see it. Not going to lie, I think Conor beats Holloway. He should honestly considering moving back down to featherweight. Are you saying Conor should think about moving back down to featherweight because Max is already there? I don't think Conor beats Holloway at this point. Masvidal pulled out. Yes, Masvidal pulled out. Undisclosed injury. They're probably not going to rebook the fight. Dustin beats Charles, then loses to Gaethje, then Gaethje loses to Islam. If Dustin beats Charles, I think Conor McGregor is fighting for the lightweight world title next year. Hate to say that. Conor can't make 145. He's basically killing himself to get there. I mean, the old pictures of him look crazy. I think Charles is a more technical striker against Max Holloway and Justin G. I think the worst threat to Charles Oliveira right now is Justin Gaethje. Izzy was very young when fought Pereira and was winning the fight before the KO. Okay, then I take your word for it. I have not watched the entire fight. Either way, it was a long time ago, and now this is MMA. So, I mean, if I went off the limited knowledge I had now, I'd pick Izzy. Kevin Holland versus Edmund would be a fun fight. Talk about a grotesque career mismanagement for Edmund Shabazian. Nasruddin, before that, Jack Hermanson, before that, Derek Brunson. Oh, this guy is like 23 and taken massive amount of damage in his life. Did you guys see the UFC 268 fight motion video on the UFC channel? It was really cool. I've seen that it was posted, but I've not seen it yet. Call me crazy. I think Charles may give Holloway some problems on the feet. I agree. I think it's very competitive on the feet. He sleeps Robert's worst style matchup are guys like Wonderboy, Stylebender, and Pereira. He runs into these type of guys and gets clipped. Even Darren Till dropped him. Very true. Usually if he lost a decision to him, they fought twice. I've been asking for that fight for months. Florida man. What fight was that? I must have missed this. Conor versus Holloway. Okay, I see. Khamzat and Giga, future champs. What's next for Masvidal if him and Colby are actually still friends? I think they fight each other. I think the reason they had not fought each other up until this point is they were hoping one or the other would get the title and they could fight for the title, which would make it an even bigger fight. But I think now that they've exhausted 2 title shots, so 4 title shots between the two of them with no victories, I think they're like, well, we might as well cash this in while we're still in our prime. And I think it's a fun stylistic matchup. I mean, a lot of people think Colby's going to go out there and dominate. but I'm not so sure. Masvidal is decent. He has decent grappling, and his power looks good. No doubt he's been training that wrestling, especially with the 2 shots against Kamaru Usman. So I think what's next for Masvidal, I think he fights Colby next, honestly. But I wouldn't mind seeing a fight versus Luque. Will Zabit be back? Haven't heard. Supposedly he's not retired. So Zabit Magomed Sharipov will be back, my friend. Will be back. Bad boy boots 8. But I don't think Zabit has a fight yet. Somebody, if you know, put it in the chat. But I don't think Zabit has a fight yet. Let me see something real quick, guys. I hate that Luque and Burns trains together at Kinds ends up in the top 5 because you can't book them. Yeah, that does suck because it makes a lot of sense right now. Controversial opinion, Petr Yan will be double champ. I think he could give Volk and Holloway a run for their money. I think Yan is too small to fight at featherweight. I think he's the perfect size bantamweight. I think you have a better chance of him going down to 25 than up to 45. I think he'd be too small there. But his skill set, I definitely think he'd give him a run. But I just think he's probably too small for him. Joey, after watching UFC 268 again, was Weili robbed? See, I use robbed as a term for a terrible decision, so I say no. But I do think Weili won the first 3 rounds. So it sucks. So, yeah, it does suck. Great channel, Joey. Keep going. Headed back into work. Thank you, bad boy. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for tuning into the live stream. Thank you for watching the videos. I appreciate you very much, and I'm happy you're enjoying the content. And there's nothing but upgrades coming for this channel. Nothing but upgrades. I'm trying to build this channel into a very large MMA channel. We will see if it's possible. You guys are helping me. We're 6 months, I think, going on 7 months into the channel, and we're at over 1,500 subscribers. So we will see where the channel. I can't wait to see. I started this channel April 1st of this year. I want to see where it is April of 2022. Do you think they will rush Glover to defend, or will they let him celebrate his win for a couple months? I think they'll let him enjoy the victory for a little bit. I think he'll defend in like April, May. It all depends when the UFC needs somebody. It seems like everybody wants to fight January to like April, June. Because I guess a lot of people like to have the summer off, and a lot of people like to have the holidays off. So it seems like a lot of people like to fight in that window. So if they don't need somebody to headline a fight card, I think they'll let Glover sit out and wait to fight Yuri till like May, June. Plus, he probably wants to fight before the summer. Do you think they will do Colby versus Jorge in tough? I say true. I say true, my friend. I think they do. I think Colby versus Jorge. They've tried to make that for Ultimate Fighter before. I think yes. What's up, Smoking Joe? Good to see you still at it, bud. Thank you, Mike Jenkins. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the encouraging words. I'm going to keep going. We're over 1,500 subscribers already, which far exceeded my expectations for this channel, guys. I still can't believe it. I mean, the fact that, there's over 1,500 people subscribed to the channel. I think I have over like 200,000 views at this point on the channel. Don't quote me on that, but something like 200,000 views on the channel. We got quite a few members on the supporting the channel with and it's not it's not some crazy perks, but it's some decent perks, and eventually I'm gonna add more to it. But the fact that we have members who are supporting the channel, got the custom emojis. When I add a couple more members, I've told you guys this before, when I add like 2 more members, I am going to get a Khamzat Chimaev emoji to use in the chat. I also I'm going to upload those emojis to our Discord server as well. I think it's going to be awesome during some of the big fights. I was on Discord. We can message each other back and forth on Discord. So I really think that, thank you. Shout out to French Fries and I think it was Kieran Bates, who wanted the Discord server. So I think that's an awesome perk for members. And once you join, you will never be kicked out of the Discord server. So even if you know, you only keep a membership for a month or two, and then you cancel, and then you rejoin eventually or whatever, you will always get access to the Discord server. And I think that's a great additional perk because you guys can message me directly. I made a tab in there for video suggestions. There's a tab in there for fight nights, GOAT discussions, stuff like that. So thank you, French Fries. Thank you, Kieran Bates, for coming up with the Discord server. That's another great benefit for the members only. And eventually, I've told you guys this before, eventually I might make more tiers, like maybe like a $5 tier or something like, and add more like early prediction videos where I'll post my prediction videos and just have them out there early for members only, stuff like that. And if you want to sign up for it, that's awesome. If not, that's cool too. But I'm going to keep evolving and adding stuff, and I'm going to keep upgrading the channel as well. So, also, do you enjoy watching Aaron Pico fight? Do you think he will be a good addition to the UFC? I don't know, man. I feel like he's always been overhyped. I feel like every time like people get behind him, he ends up getting starched by someone. I don't know what kind of streak he's on now because I kind of gave up on him. But he's a young guy and he's an interesting prospect. But Joey, hypothetically, if Weili versus Rose trilogy was happening, who you pick based off of what we saw? I'd probably go Weili again. That's crazy. 2 losses. I'd probably go Weili again. I wish she could just get up off her back. If she could get off her back, I think she was going to win that fight. But Rose was able to control her on the ground for too long. People sleep on Charles Oliveira striking. He's not totally unmatched against Justin G on the feet. I think he gets blow in on Justin Gaethje. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, but I think Charles Oliveira's striking is underrated. But I think Justin Gaethje gives him a lot of problems. Let's see. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Jung Da-un is going to be fired this Saturday. That's on the UFC card. UFC card, actually, me and French Fries were talking about this on the Discord. The fight night card has a lot of hidden gems on this UFC Vegas 42. Song Yadong, Julio Arce, Miguel Baeza versus Chaos Williams. I'm really looking forward to. I see it. Kennedy Nzechukwu. I can't even pronounce his name. Versus Jung Da-un. This is apparently the first fight. There's a lot of fun fights. Thiago Moises, Joel Alvarez, Cynthia Calvillo, Andrea Lee. I don't really care about it that much, but it's a relevant relevant women's flyweight fight. Ben Rothwell versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I don't care about too much. Felicia Spencer versus Lee Letson. Don't give a shit about it all. But it's got a lot of quality fights on the card. Song Yadong. I agree. Justin Mokayo, Oliveira versus Poirier. It's 50-50. Yeah, I think it's 50-50 versus Justin Gaethje, honestly. And I think Oliveira maybe 70-30. Oliveira against Poirier. I'm saying I think Charles can touch Justin G standing. I agree. But if Justin Gaethje clips him, it's going to be hard for him to recover. What happens to Edwards Masvidal? Masvidal pulled out with an undisclosed injury. Nate versus Conor 3 should be the fight to make, but knowing Conor, he's scared of Diaz 2. I think that's most likely to happen. How would you see Cruz versus Edgar going? I don't know, man. It's sad, both those guys. I'd probably pick Cruz. But who knows? Maybe Edgar would try to wrestle him. That's a hard fight to pick, to be honest. It's a very hard fight to pick. But I'd love to see that fight. I think, who is Cruz fighting? Isn't he fighting Pedro Munoz? I think Cruz is going to lose to Pedro Munoz, to be honest. Oh, guys, you know what also I wanted to talk about? You guys will get a kick out of this. Raulian Paiva is no longer ranked in the top 15. Raulian Paiva is no longer ranked in the top 15. So the O'Malley caught won't be able to say, he beat someone in the top 15 now. Because that's what they were waiting to do. Chris Bennett is a beast heavyweight. Did they pull Edwards out of the card? Supposedly he's off the card. They may keep him, but as of right now, it's being reported that it's not going to happen. So, hold on. Let's do a poll real quick. I want to do a poll. Who do you want to see McGregor return against? I'm doing a poll in the chat, guys. Get ready to vote. I'm doing a poll in the chat. Diaz. All right, guys, I'm doing a poll in the chat. Go vote in the poll. It should pop up here in a second. I hope I did it right. I wonder where it's at. Did the poll pop up, guys? Oh, there we go. Yep. I said Justin KO's Oliveira and Justin versus Poirier is 50-50. Okay. I just disagree. Let's be real. Justin Gaethje didn't look that good against Chandler. He went back to his brawling ways, but I guess Chandler brought that side out of him. He didn't fight Chandler like he fought Ferguson. Yeah, I think he just got caught up in it. Edgar should fight Marlon, then retire. I think Edgar should just retire, honestly. Let's see what we got here. Seems like most people want the Diaz trilogy. If Sean wins, then they can say he beat a previously ranked guy. Yeah, that's what I didn't like. A lot of people were hyping up Paiva like he was some elite world-class bantamweight. And the only reason they were hyping him up was so that if O'Malley did beat him, they could say they beat such a great guy. Leon Edwards deserves to get skipped for not accepting a replacement. Hey, let's pump the brakes. We don't know if he's going to accept a replacement yet or not, or what the UFC wants to do. Joey, so much for moving Moreno versus Figueroa. What do you mean? So much for moving. Oh, yeah, because he got moved to January, right? That does suck. Has Hamza said anything? I know he talks a lot. He says he wants to step in and fight Leon Edwards. Leon and George fight being off sucks for fans who bought tickets to 269 already. That sucks. That very, very much sucks. I voted Diaz and it went to Ferguson. I have no idea how it works. I just started doing these polls. I just learned these polls could happen. If you guys want to vote in the poll, I'm going to end it in a second. Seems like most people want Diaz. Anyway, so there you go. Frankie versus O'Malley. I think O'Malley made a massive misstep not taking that Frankie fight. And now Marlon Vera got to stop him. And now, you know what I mean? Lamau, why people want Diaz trilogy? Why not Ferguson versus Conor? I love Diaz and Ferguson fights for Conor. So I love all three of those fights. I just don't like the Poirier fight. I voted Ferguson. On Twitter, Leon seems that he will wait for Usman. I did see that. He said, see you soon, Usman, or whatever. I'm going to end that poll. Get rid of that. It seems like Diaz got the majority of the vote. Let's see what else. Frankie looks good, but his chin. Yeah, his chin. Also, his striking doesn't look that great. I mean, he's the best, worst striker I've ever seen is the way I described him on the post-fight. Guys, put some last-minute questions in there because I'm actually really tired tonight. So I'm going to end this stream a little bit early. That's why I started a little bit early. So if you guys got any final questions, I'll be streaming Friday for Bellator. And maybe Saturday for the Max Holloway fight. We'll see about that. I got a lot of stuff I got to do. But put any questions. Let me put a poll in here real quick before I end this also. Do another poll. Who are you picking? So if you guys have any last minute questions, throw them in the chat. I can't wait for Holloway versus Yair, honestly. The fact that Yair took this fight is just insane to me. Frankie, okay, I mean we've seen Diaz versus Conor already, seen it twice. Conor needs a fresh matchup. I think Ferguson is a perfect guy. I'd love that fight, honestly. I've been campaigning for that fight. I want to see Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. Winner fights Conor. I'm still not impressed by Cheeto. Still gets dominated by any top contender. Probably, yeah. Magny versus Wonderboy prediction. I'll go Wonderboy. I think Wonderboy's wrestling is just good enough to stuff the takedowns from Neil Magny and outstrike him. Diaz versus Conor, but it might not happen the longer we don't get it. Yeah, I think it eventually happens, though. Cheeto is really not that good. He's highly overrated for beating Sean O'Malley. I don't think he's highly overrated, man. I don't think anybody really thinks he's all that great. But I think he is a top 10 talent, honestly. I think Marlon Vera could beat Dominic Cruz. I think he could beat Marlon Moraes. I think he could beat Cody Garbrandt. I know Cody Garbrandt's technically down at flyweight. Let me just tell you who I don't think Marlon Vera could beat. I don't think he beats Aljamain Sterling. I think it's dominated. The grappling is just not that good. I think he absolutely gets destroyed by Petr Yan. I think he loses to TJ Dillashaw. He loses to Corey Sandhagen. Loses to Rob Font. Loses to Jose Aldo. Loses to Merab Dvalishvili. Beats Cody Garbrandt. Maybe beats Pedro Munoz, but he probably loses to Pedro Munoz. Can beat Marlon Moraes and can beat Dominic Cruz. So he's definitely a top 10 talent in my opinion. But he did kick Sean O'Malley's leg so hard, then flash KO him with ground and pound to leave him be stretchered out of the cage with no real injury. That did happen though. But he did get a little bit of hype for that. What's up, OG? Tony versus Hooker. I wouldn't mind that, but I still think there's better fights for Tony Ferguson. Do you think Ferguson will fight before Conor comes back? I don't know. I've been hoping he gets a fight booked, but it just hasn't happened. Wait, Wonderboy versus Magny is official? Ooh. I don't know if it's official yet. I know there's been rumblings of it. I don't know if it's official. I'm not a fan of Chito. Hopefully he loses his next fight. I like Chito. I like Chito Vera. But I'm not biased based on my opinion. Who wins, Sandhagen or Font? Sandhagen. Sandhagen for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this live chat. It's a little bit shorter than usual, but I'm very, very tired. I appreciate every single one of you for joining me. If there's any more breaking news, Khamzat Chimaev gets a fight, I will be doing more videos, so you guys can always check those out. I always try to stay on top of it. There's some upgrades coming to the channel very, very soon. Thank you guys for all your support, and enjoy the rest of your night. And join me Friday for the Bellator stream for the Chris Cyborg fight. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.